an asshole? Nah, I'm just kidding. Or am I? Alright, first story. Am I the asshole for refusing to change the tour chart even though my wife works full-time now? I met my wife in college, and she was soon pregnant after we graduated. We moved in together, and it was decided that she will not look for a job until after she gave birth. Our first daughter was born, and my wife was a stay-at-home mom for the first 2 years. We had a lot of fights about chore splitting. I was very overwhelmed coming home and having to do a ton of chores after work and also spend time with our daughter. This has gotten worse as our daughter has gotten older and is a little tornado. The biggest issue was when she wouldn't pick up at all, especially in the kitchen. That meant I would come home, clean the kitchen, cook, and then clean the kitchen again. Then I'd have to go around and clean up all of the day's activities. We argued about this a lot, and her stance was she watches our kid all day long so I can clean up more when I get home. In the end, I gave in and we made an official chore chart. Her chores were to watch the kid, do laundry and grocery shopping, and handle appointments. My job is dinner, everyday cleaning, aka wiping down the counter, picking up toys, sweeping, etc., trash and meal prep and nighttime routine, bath, etc. In the summer, my company informed me that I would be let go around Thanksgiving. We talked it over, and my wife found a job and would be the main breadwinner for the time being. I was to watch our daughter, and I am in an online master's program. I personally have had no issues about this arrangement, but my wife has. She hates having to come home and do the chores and clean up after us. I actually leave it cleaner than what she has left for me. I put the dishes in the dishwasher throughout the day. We have been arguing about this constantly. She thinks it's unfair she has to do all the chores after working all day, and me pointing out this is literally what I have done for the past 2 years, but she says she is the breadwinner now, and I shouldn't have to do this, and I pointed out that I was the breadwinner before to begin with and did this all. That I am watching our daughter and doing a program. This is written really shittily. Oh my god, grown-ass man, by the way. She claims that I am being unfair, since I refuse to change the chore chart because it's literally what I have done for 2 years. My friends has opinions on this, so I need an outsider opinion. Okay, I've never been married, and I obviously don't have a child, so maybe my, thoughts on this may be wrong. But isn't marriage a partnership, especially if you have a child? It sounds like they don't even like each other. We're like roommates who just happen to have a child in the mix. Not the good, and they were roommates kind of roommates. I mean, it's been 2 years. Obviously, stuff changes. I think you guys need to, talk about this again. The OP never states their age, so I don't know how old they are, but if they're old enough to, have full-time jobs and have a toddler, I think they should be mature enough to, talk this out. Obviously, I only know so much as what is written in the Reddit post, so maybe my opinion is screwed. It sounds like they're arguing more than actually talking. While in this situation, the husband is less of the asshole, I think everyone kind of sucks here. Obviously, I don't have any more insight than this Reddit post, but I still think everyone sucks here, considering it's literally labeled everyone sucks here by the Reddit. I'll read some comments. This has 14k upvotes. It's obviously time to rethink the chore chart in quotations and have an actual and honest conversation about responsibilities around your home. Yes, you are now the stay-at-home parent, but caring for a toddler is different than caring for an infant when also postpartum. Post-birth, by the way. So what you had time for during the day will also be different. You are supposed to be a team, so come up with the best plan for all of you. This just feels like you resent what you needed to do to take care of your family when the baby was born. Not about being fair or doing the same thing. How many hours does she work now? How many did you work? Can you send your child to preschool soon? Would you consider getting some help with the housekeeping? There are solutions to what needs to get done, so find those and not worry about what everyone was doing before. Man, that sounds way cooler than my explanation. Explanation. Whoa, English, my guys. My first language, by the way. Okay, so this comment says the OP is not the asshole. This has 2.5 upvotes. Toddlers are more work, LMFAO. They sleep less, make more messes, need actual entertainment. They eat 3 real meals that need to be cooked and cleaned up. Cleaned up, fuck me sideways. Infants are the easiest stage. Not to mention, he's doing a master's program and watching the child. His wife needs to stop crying and carry her weight. Why does he need to keep taking on more work while she breezes by no matter what role she's playing? He said they both worked full-time. So assuming they both work between 35 and 40 hours, but again, the roles change and he's still home doing more because he's watching the child, doing his masters, and leaving it cleaner come his wife. Out of here. Fuck. And leaving it cleaner come his wife than she did him. Everyone needs to stop blaming the husband. He doesn't need to adjust the chore chart when it's now his turn to have the kid just because... Fuck, I need to breathe. Just because he doesn't want to do housework no matter the role. Do you think she would have taken on more chores when she was home? The answer is no. I wouldn't be willing to revisit the chore chart either, and it's not really fair to expect him to. Okay, this is a really good point. Honestly, I'm conflicted. Okay, so OP in this situation is not the a-hole, but I feel like there is some underlying issue with communication and resentment building up in this relationship. I think some, deep talks, maybe with a friend, maybe with a marriage counselor are needed. Because I really hate for that child to grow up in that environment. Ooh, this next one is fresh. 4 hours ago. Am I the asshole for asking a friend if my wedding save the date got lost? I've been friends with a close group of women from college for over a decade. However, in the last few years since I had a child, one friend, Jenny, pushed me away, stopped inviting me to things or coming to things I invited her to, got chilly, etc. Damn, we were making chili? After all of this behavior, I asked her directly about it to see if anything was wrong, and she deflected. I don't see her very often anymore and stopped inviting her to stuff. We were close and always celebrated each other's life events. She even threw my baby shower, which I was very grateful for, and got her a gift. I would absolutely have come to a wedding/life events of hers, even if it was across the world. I'm not re-recording that. Shut up. I don't care, I stuttered. Jenny and her fiancé are getting married soon in a destination wedding. I didn't get a save the date, which hurt my feelings a bit. Last month, I saw posts on social media about her bachelorette party. I was one of 2 women in our group, not invited. All the other batch parties in our group included all the women. Suddenly, last night, I got an invitation to her wedding. I'm 90% sure she got some declines and I made the cut. I suppose it's technically possible the save the date ended up in my spam filter, but I doubt it. I don't feel comfortable talking with Jenny because last time I tried, she wouldn't talk about it. Would I be the asshole if I asked a mutual friend if the save the date was lost? Would I be the asshole for talking with the mutual friends about this at all, thereby putting them in the middle? I feel weird either accepting or declining without talking with someone about how weird this feels. Okay, and that's the end of it. So this is actually, would I be the asshole, which means she hasn't done it yet, but I think she would be the asshole. Hear me out. It's a very soft would be the asshole. It sounds like she's still clinging to someone who's already drifted far apart. Sometimes in life, you just gotta let go, even if it hurts. It's like holding a piece of broken glass that used to be part of your favorite vase. Even if you still love it, you gotta let it go for your sake. And everyone else's sake, because blood-borne diseases. That's gross. Hazard bin. Imagine if Africa tried to hold on to South America when Pangea split. It just wouldn't work. So, very soft would be the asshole. Ooh, this one's a mother-in-law story. I love mother-in-law stories. This is also quite fresh. Fresh out of the oven, 14 hours ago. Am I the asshole for arguing with my mother-in-law about my husband's feelings for spaghetti? This is a throwaway account because my mother-in-law follows my real one. My husband and I, both 25, were visiting my mother-in-law's house for dinner this evening. After dinner, my husband offered to drive his youngest sister to a friend's house so that mother-in-law could stay home after cooking. While he was out, mother-in-law, sister-in-law, and I sat around the living room chatting. Sister-in-law is preparing to move out on her own soon, and was asking about any easy-to-cook dinner recipes I had. One of the things I brought up was spaghetti. When I said that, mother-in-law chuffed and asked if I only make that when... What is DH stand for? I think it means her husband. When my husband is working late. I was confused and told her no. She said, well, he doesn't like spaghetti. That's why I asked. Again, I was confused. I told her that's how he likes it now. Enough to request that I make it decently often. To that, she said, is that maybe your favorite thing to make and he knows it? Is that why he asked? At this point, I started to get a little annoyed because I could feel it going in the direction that she isn't a stranger to, which is the, I'll always know more about my son than you, sort of thing. So, where I would usually just shrug and say, I don't know, to keep the peace, I decided I would push back this time. I told her that every time I make spaghetti, he polishes off over half of it that night, and leftovers don't last either. Then mother-in-law turned to sister-in-law and said, "You remember how much he hates spaghetti? He would practically gag over it." To which sister-in-law shrugged and said, "Maybe he changed his mind." And mother-in-law went to say, "No, I know him. He's stubborn about taste." So I asked mother-in-law if she thought I was lying about him liking spaghetti, and she rolled her eyes and asked me if this was the hill I wanted to die on, to which I said she was welcome to ask him once he got back. She shook her head and told me there's no need for her to ask, that she knew her son and she would know the answer. After that, conversation faded and we all sort of just got on our phones, until my husband walked back into the house and the first thing I said was, "Hey babe, do you like spaghetti?" And of course he said yes, in a confused tone. I gestured my hand to him and looked at my mother-in-law and said, "See?" She got up and said, "I gotta do something," and went back to her room and did not come back out until we left. On our way home, I explained the spaghetti thing to my husband, which he honestly did not care about. He just asked why I asked. But about an hour ago, mother-in-law sent my husband a big text about how rude I was and telling her that he only likes my spaghetti because I'm a better cook than her, which I did not say. So, am I the asshole for arguing it? Does it make me childish, even though I was a little fed up with the whole song and dance? Okay, sometimes I just hate stories like these. Ones where they obviously know they aren't the asshole, or maybe it should be more obvious that they aren't the asshole. Obviously not the asshole. This mother-in-law is just cuckoo for the cacas. Maybe had a few screws loose that were tied in by a monkey's dick. And looking at the comments, I think this is, assumed to be the truth. Your mother-in-law is a child, and she probably makes crap spaghetti, not the asshole. To which the OP replied, apparently it wasn't even her spaghetti he didn't like. My husband said it was his aunt's spaghetti that he hated when he was little. From then on, his mom would just repeat that he didn't like spaghetti, so he just never ate it from anyone. I guess his dislikes for spaghetti never came up before I made it for him shortly after us moving in together. He ate it because he will at least try anything I make, and now he requests it. Lol. Not sure why his mom was so on top of him with disliking food someone else made, but I don't think I'll ever understand that. Lol. Oh, so the mother's just a fucking weirdo. Another comment says this: I love chicken and dumplings in the winter, not so much in the summer, and I have several relatives who make shit dumplings and leave all the bones and bristle. Yuck. One reply said, I think you mean gristle. Bristle is found in bushes. I don't know. I've never had dumplings. Doesn't seem like something I like. I don't like the smell. No offense to anyone who likes dumplings. They sound divine for you. I mean, the person I honor this video to really likes my spaghetti. You know who you are, twin. You know who you are. Oh, this next video story is a woozy. It's a longin'. Strap in, my children. Am I the asshole for refusing to let my friend's psychic do an exorcism on me? My friend moved into CO? Oh, I googled it. It's for Colorado, short for Colorado. My friend moved to Colorado a few years back, and I haven't seen her since the birth of her second child. Haven't had money to travel. After winning a lawsuit recently, her financial situation has improved enough that she invited me to see her and bought me a ticket just before Christmas. Holy run-on sentence. We had a pretty good time for the first few days, decorating her tree, teaching her oldest to play chess, hiking, etc. She's pregnant again and pretty tired and emotional, and we did have an argument about politics while we were hiking. She's against vaccination as a requirement for public school, and I'm not. Oh, so she's stupid. This ended with her crying and saying she was afraid I'd stop being her friend if she said the wrong thing, and me hugging her and saying I wouldn't. The day after that, she paid for me to have a psychic reading with this lady she sees all the time. I thought it would be fun and interesting, but the first thing the lady said to me was, "How long have you had a problem with your weight?" I started laughing because "you're fat" isn't exactly a psychic revelation, and I'm also an intersectional feminist into fat liberation, so she picked the exact wrong physical feature to attack. I'm not going to state my opinions on that. Not right now. My friend was there, and I looked at her expecting her to think it was funny, but she just looked stressed out. The psychic, in quotation marks, proceeded to tell me I'm fat because I have a demon attached to me. not because I started working from home and stopped exercising in 2020. I told her I don't consider my weight to be a problem, and she said, "That's the demon telling you to say that." I kept laughing and telling her she was wrong until she kicked me out, and I had to wait on her porch for an hour while she did a separate reading for my friend. My friend waited until later at her house to confront me, saying she thought I had been rude to the psychic, and she agreed with her that I should have an exorcism. She asked if I would consider an exorcism with anyone else, but interrupted my answer with more questions, which she also interrupted, so I never even got a chance to say I'd consider it. She said, "You can believe everyone else in the world is wrong, and you're right if you want," as she was walking away when I kept talking, still sitting at the table. She said I could leave if I wanted to keep arguing while she was walking away. She called an Uber back to the airport for me the next day and didn't even say goodbye, then later texted a mutual friend that I'm just an argumentative person and she's sick of it. I don't know if I was being a little insensitive by laughing in her spiritual leader's face that way when she was paying for it. I know that she's been feeling very vulnerable with the pregnancy and everything too, and I'm sure this psychic, in quotations, took the opportunity after kicking me out to secure her financial interest in my friend by turning her against me. Maybe I should have just agreed and played along. Oh, there's an edit. Thanks to everyone who's responded so far. Some additional points to clarify. 1. I don't know if my friend is actually anti-vax because she has vaccinated her own kids and plans to vaccinate the new baby too. She's vaccinated them over a longer schedule than usually recommended because she thinks it's more dangerous to get their shots all at once. The argument was more about whether it's a greater injustice to vaccinate people against their will or to expose people to measles, etc. against their will. 2. My own attitude towards psychics is open-minded. I see it as similar as buying a lottery ticket. I know it's unlikely that I get any genuine insights from a psychic, but it's fun to take a chance once in a while on the possibility that someone will blow my mind. 3. My friend herself isn't a scam artist. I've seen her spend money over the years on a a life coach, and a shaman, and to her, they're like religious figures. She always has been generous with her money, like buying me a plane ticket because I couldn't afford it. The flip side to that is sometimes she has a customer service mentality. I'm not much of a traveler, but when she offered to buy me a plane ticket that pretty much ensured I would visit, she didn't finish the sentence. When she said, "You can go," during the argument, she knew I didn't have the money to go anywhere, so that ensured I'd stop trying to talk about how I felt and just act surface-level polite for the rest of the night and next morning, because the alternative was being stranded in another state. Maybe she expected that paying for the psychic would make me more pliable than I already was. Not the asshole, what the fuck? I'm not a fan of psychics, can't say I am unless they're psychic-type Pokemon or psychic-type Pokemon gym leaders. Hey Sabrina. Obviously not the asshole who just comments on someone's body like that and says it's because they have a demon inside them. The only demon inside is when I'm inside your mother and I go demon mode on her ass. Man, I'm not funny. Seems the comments agree. One commenter says, "The psychic, in quotations, is 100% playing on your friend's vulnerabilities and taking her for money. She is a scammer. The whole way she approached you, spoke to you, made you wait outside, etc. screams illegitimate. A real psychic doesn't operate like that. Your friend is in a vulnerable space. If it were me and I valued the friendship, I would apologize for outright laughing during that interaction, as that could be seen as rude, and that you respect her choices, but that psychics are not just something you are interested in, and you respect her choice the same way you respect hers. Ultimately, I would take the baby steps to get her away from the psychic, but when someone is in a vulnerable state like that, outright challenging their beliefs never ends well or makes any progress in getting them out of it." This comment says, "Your friend is in a deep rabbit hole where a scammer is using her pregnancy hormones to sell overpriced ghost hunting. Laughing at a psychic who calls you fat is the only sane reaction to such a blatant lack of talent. You should take that Uber ride as a blessing away from a person who thinks your metabolism is a spiritual warfare issue." I mean, yeah, makes sense to me. I'm out of Reddit stories. My throat hurts, my mouth is drier than a woman gets around Donald Trump. Please leave your opinions on the stories in the comments. Check out the community posts. I love when you post in the community. And, that's enough for me. I'm Monocopsis. This is my channel. Please subscribe or even just leave a like, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye!